Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Good morning. Welcome again. It's a hard act to follow after the wonderful speakers we already had today. I'm your session chair for this coming up session, the global session. My name is Regina Eisert. I work as a science advisor to Murahiki Regeneration. In another life, I am also the New Zealand-Germany Science and Innovation Coordinator for the Ministry of Business, Innovation and Employment. It's my very great privilege today and to send you the very warmest greetings from Her Excellency Nicole Menzenbach, the ambassador to Wellington from the Federal Republic of Germany. Unfortunately, Her Excellency was called away to an urgent commitment in the Pacific. The German embassy in Wellington also covers the Pacific nations. And I was asked to please present her address to you today on her behalf. So she sent her apologies, and I hope I can do this justice since I'm not an ambassador, but thank you. So first slide, excellent. So tēnā koutou katoa. Sehr geehrte Damen und Herren, thank you very much for the invitation. It is a great honor to be invited to contribute to this wānanga on energy and innovation, topics of particular interest in Germany. Please allow me to start with a caveat. I am by no means an expert in the field. Diplomats might be expected to be experts in international relations, but certainly not in all the other topics they are nevertheless frequently invited to talk about. Also applies to scientists. So I ask your indulgence while I'm addressing the crucially important topics of energy transition. What I shall endeavor to do is to talk about international cooperation from the perspective of a country which in many respects has been an early adopter of the energy transition, at least in some areas. Germany has not only made a strong and lasting commitment to energy transition, or Energiewende, as we call it, on a national level, but is also determined to support the global energy transition. Over the past decades, all the efforts that Germany has undertaken in the pursuit of these commitments have necessarily been accompanied by many challenges, mistakes, question marks, and setbacks. But the goal is clear. Humanity has to collectively abandon the use of fossil fuels by mid-century in order to stand a realistic chance of containing the effects of climate change. Let me give you a brief glance at Germany's history of research on and use of renewable energy technologies in recent years. 23 years ago, a treaty was signed to prepare our nuclear phase-out. Somebody mentioned nuclear energy, and I'm picking that up. This resulted in the progressive decommissioning of German nuclear power plants starting in 2003. The shutdown of Germany's last 3 nuclear power stations earlier this year, in fact on April 15, 2023, officially marked the exit from nuclear power and the commitment to renewable energy. Long before the catastrophe we associate today with the name Fukushima, it became evident that relying on fossil energies or nuclear power would not be a future-proof model, and a more sustainable pathway was needed. Following the initial decision to phase out nuclear power generation in Germany, there began an era of intense research into alternative solutions that would be sustainable, cost-efficient, and could be deployed at the scale needed to support the German industry. As you can see in this chart, the proportion of renewable energies in Germany's total energy consumption has increased steadily. Only 18 years ago, renewable sources accounted for only 7%, whereas today, 1/5 of total energy consumption originates from renewable generation. Regarding gross electricity consumption, the contribution of renewable energy was 46% last year. While this is only half of the New Zealand renewable electricity share, go New Zealand, you can see that we're on the right path. Obviously, Germany still has a long way to go, and time is of the essence. Wind energy currently plays the key role in our ongoing transition process. The ancient technology of harnessing the wind to generate energy is still reliable and sustainable today, albeit now practiced at a truly industrial scale. As you can see in this graph, nearly half of all renewable electricity produced in Germany originates from wind energy. Experience gained over several decades indicates that careful planning is required to minimize impact on ecosystems and also competition with existing use, in particular in a densely populated country like Germany. And people tend to have opinions about wind turbines. While wind energy generation currently happens primarily on dry land, Germany is increasingly shifting its focus to offshore generation. Generation at sea has the potential to deliver renewable energy at the scale required to replace fossil fuels and support new sustainable growth in Germany and in Europe. Another renewable success story is the rise of solar power. Alongside rapid advances in technology and massive expansion of capacity, the price of photovoltaic electricity has dropped dramatically and is now on par with fossil fuels. Rooftop solar generation empowers citizens and makes excellent use of available land area by occupying existing structures. Coupled with highly effective building insulation, many German homes are nowadays self-sufficient in terms of energy supply. A successful instrument incentivizing renewable electricity generation is the Electricity Feed-in Act of 1991 and its successive iterations that evolved into today's Renewable Energy Sources Act, known as EEG. The EEG stipulates that by 2030, 80% of Germany's power consumption has to originate from renewable energy sources. And New Zealand, of course, is already at that point. In order to achieve this goal, consumers are incentivized to produce renewable energy at home and feed excess energy into the country's power grid. Understandably, the money generated as well as the energy-saving model are very well received, both in the industrial and the private consumer sector. While not as glamorous, I would like also to draw your attention to biomass generation. Utilization of waste biomass not only provides sustainable means for generating electricity, heat, and fuel, it also keeps methane out of the atmosphere and converts a problem into a solution. A topic of particular interest to both Germany and Aotearoa New Zealand is hydrogen. Germany has played a key role in pioneering hydrogen research. The National Hydrogen and Fuel Cell Technology Innovation Program, or NIP, was launched in 2006. In 2020, the German government released its National Hydrogen Strategy, appointed a National Hydrogen Committee, and allocated major funding, over 9 billion euro, to start with, to supporting research, development, and deployment of hydrogen technology. Hydrogen is already a keystone raw material of the global industrial sector, with 75 million tons of hydrogen used annually. As a waste-free alternative to fossil fuels, hydrogen can provide energy where electricity cannot. Hydrogen also critically enables renewable energy generation by allowing long-term lossless storage of energy from variable sources and removing the need for curtailment. We believe that green hydrogen can have a large-scale impact in our global efforts to protect our climate. Recognizing the need for global cooperation, Germany has played a pioneering role in a range of international initiatives and organizations that shape today's climate action. Established in 2009 in Bonn, the International Renewable Energy Agency, IRENA, today has 167 members and is committed to the worldwide promotion of the sustainable use of renewable energies. One important goal is the sharing of knowledge, not only among industrialized nations, but also with threshold and developing countries. Another organization that assists countries in their efforts to transition from fossil fuels to renewable energy is the International Energy Agency, IEA. Originally set up in 1974 to guarantee a smooth supply of oil for the OECD countries, the agency today focuses on achieving greenhouse gas neutrality by 2050 across all dimensions of energy politics. This illustrates how adaptable international organizations can be and how a former major fossil fuel player like Germany can metamorphose into a champion of the global energy transition. Sometimes radical change does not require starting from scratch, but reforming and repurposing the structures and tools at hand. To illustrate the scale of the task before us, if nations around the globe want to meet their energy commitments by 2030, for every US dollar spent on fossil fuel, $5 must be spent on clean energy supply and $4 more on the efficient usage of energy. Energy efficiency is an often underappreciated prerequisite for success. The cleanest and cheapest energy is energy that we don't use in the first place. Germany and New Zealand are both comparatively small cogs in the global machinery. But our common projects and initiatives matter, not only because they contribute to doing our bit, but also by encouraging and assisting countries around the world to participate in the global energy transition. The topic of today's Wānanga here in Invercargill, energy transition for a sustainable future, seems to me a most promising area of joint endeavor for our two countries. An excellent beginning was made with the energy dialogues established in 2017. In 2021, the New Zealand-German Green Hydrogen Research Alliance was set up between the University of Otago and Helmholtz Center Herion near Hamburg. Our common commitment to the energy transition was deepened further by the ministerial meeting between Minister Megan Woods and Dr. Patrick Reichen, State Secretary of the Federal Ministry of Economic Affairs and Climate Action in Berlin in June of last year. Aotearoa New Zealand and Germany are celebrating 70 years of diplomatic relations this year. Looking back at our joint history, I believe both sides realize that it has been a special relationship which has grown beyond expectations. In international diplomacy, there is much talk of shared values. However, in the case of Germany and Aotearoa New Zealand, I firmly believe that in spite of the 18,000 kilometers separating our two countries and some tyranny of distance, we share a similar worldview, similar convictions, and similar aspirations for the future. This provides a sure foundation for mutual respect and appreciation. We welcome opportunities for further engaging with Murihiku regeneration and the New Zealand government on ways to pool our expertise and ideas to combat climate change and create a bright, sustainable future for us and for our children after us. Kia ora, thank you.